All right, troops.
Hello and welcome to That Mental Ginger Show with your host Andrew Durning, aka The Mental Ginger. Well, my three faithful followers. Actually, I have to really stop saying that now because we've got a lot more than three. And we always do have to keep bringing the guests for those that tune in, the faithful. And we just keep stepping our game up. We keep getting the good guests. And we've just secured a brilliant guest, an author who is getting very, very renowned success, I might add. And has joined the elite when you know they only go by one name, like the Madonnas, the Beyoncés, the Chers. Now we have someone that will surpass that, the Difernt. Difernt, absolutely, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. It's as you said when we were coming on, it's been ages since we got the interview arranged, and I'm just so glad to finally get this going.
I know, finally, Andrew. What's up? Hey to
Yeah.
everybody out there watching. Thank you so much for having me on the Mantle Ginger Show. I'm so excited
Yeah.
to chat with you about, so many, new things that's going on in my world, especially, with this pandemic and everybody's mental health been in shambles. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad I had somebody like, who understands me just like you, even though we're on different sides of the world,
Yeah.
that just
It's
goes to show, we're all one and the same, no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I just look at it like everybody's got a brain, and it's always going
mhm,
to be messed up. So
mhm.
doesn't matter about anything else. We want to know what's going on inside that brain, and then what I like to do is to get my guests to tell my followers their origin story. Because if there's one thing we all have in common, we all have an
Mhm.
origins. So the artist that is Different, I'm going to make so many parodies with this.
Go
please,
ahead.
please tell my faithful followers your origin story.
Oh, shoot. We'll take it back to the year 1990. No, 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 no.
Hey.
That's too
Well,
far back.
well,
But
I'm 1987, so you're okay.
oh, you beat me. You got me beat. But
Yep.
no, actually, December 15, 1990, which today is my birthday. I
Yep.
turned 31 today.
Yep.
But
Well, for everybody that's listening for the recording, because sometimes these do go out a bit later. Sorry to spoil the magic, but well, the artist formerly known as Different. Well, I told you I'm just gonna keep going with
sorry.
them. Yeah, well, has taken the time out of her day, a special day, her birthday, to grace this humble ginger with her presence. So, officially, happy birthday, and I hope you had a great
Thank you.
day up until this point.
Well, sorry about that.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. So many people have broken the illusion. You're not the first. You definitely won't be the last.
Better warn me next time.
I
But
never like to
yeah.
warn. I just like watching it. It's all part of the fun.
Oh, okay. Well, you got me there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So just my origin story. Coming up, I had a tough upbringing. I'm overcoming homelessness and foster care. Around the age of 11, I had a pretty a good upbringing up until that time. I ended up homeless with my family, living from pillow to post for the next 3 years, basically
Wow.
sleeping in, cars, shelters, bus stops, strangers' house, relatives. At one point, we even slept at, at parks and in a crack house one time, a drug house.
Wow.
And so at the age of 14, a family member, secretly placed me in foster care, and nobody knew where I was for 6 months. And I found out through another foster kid that, in the States, in Houston, Texas, which is where I'm from,
Hmm.
they pay for, foster kids who age out of foster care, their tuition to college. And
Wow.
so I used that as an opportunity to, get out of my situation. And I ended up going to a university here in Huntsville, Texas, called Sam Houston State University.
Hmm.
Um, it is there where my motivational speaking bug was planted, where I started my own student organization titled Pay It Forward, an organization that was tailored to mentoring, educating, and volunteering to the youth that were in foster care and the youth in general. We would go to different high schools speaking with them about the importance of education. I also got the opportunity to travel abroad, and I studied abroad in Kim Young University in South Korea. And within
Wow.
that opportunity, yeah, I got to travel to 8 other different countries. And so that's where my travel bug was planted. And thus far, before the pandemic hit it, I was almost up to 50 countries that I had traveled to just about. But I ended up graduating from Sam Houston in 2013 and got my bachelor's in international business, and I have two minors in economics and business comm. A few years later, I got my master's degree in entrepreneurship. I am now, a CEO of my own business, Third Eye Entertainment. Not to mention, I'm a Texas real estate agent as well as a newfound author of my book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift. Um, but all of that, Andrew, all those accomplishments under my belt, it doesn't mean, a doggone thing if, you're not happy with inside. I still had demons to deal with in the back of my mind, the trauma that I had went through in my childhood and my teenage years, all over and into my adulthood. It was, for me, growing up, chaos was normal. And I know I'm not the only one out there who can, who's been through that situation. So I was taken out of the situation that I was in and placed in foster care. I was placed in actually good homes and good school districts, but for me, it was too good to be true. So I sabotaged it. And I just carried that characteristics, just carried throughout, high school, college, and into my adulthood to where I was sabotaging all of my career opportunities. And one opportunity that I had, I just let the demons in the back of my head get the best of me, telling me, I'm not good enough. They're not going to like me, or they're just taking pity out of me. And so I purposely showed up late to that meeting, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. And for years, this happened, I think, in 2014, 2015. For years, I sat on that and other mistakes that I made until one day I just woke up and just had to face the ugly truth that, whatever it is that happened to me in the past, present, and the future, it's on me to go address that issue and go and fix it. And so I dismissed that notion that, most Black people don't do therapy or talk about our mental issues. And I took myself to therapy. And I'm so proud to say that, I've been in therapy now consecutively and consistently for the past 2 years. And I say that to anybody out there that's struggling with mental anguish. I know I might get ahead of myself, but
Yeah,
struggling with
you've
mental
jumped to the last
anguish.
question. We're only at 7 minutes here.
Go ahead.
Different. Come
No,
on.
no, no, no,
No,
no. Just you
but
wouldn't stop me then. Jump in for me.
definitely not. I mean,
Feel
well,
free to cut me off.
no, definitely not. Well, I don't like to interrupt my guests at the best of times. What you were on?
My
You're on a
goodness.
roll. I mean, in fairness, like you talk about like Rihanna being one of the most successful businesswomen. Consider what you've
Mm-hmm.
done, and she hasn't. She can suck it. You're absolutely brilliant, man. What? What? That's
Well, I can't hate on her too much because she in her bag. I'm trying to get to where she's at. So I'm,
no.
I'm on my come up. I just tell people, with the pandemic, it's taught us that life is not promised tomorrow. It's time for anybody out there who feels it's their destiny to live that good life. It's now or never to go after it. It's time to get
Mm,
rich during that pandemic or die trying. And for me, I always tell people you are either on that come up like Cardi B or that comeback like Robert D. And so I'm on
hey.
that come up. There is no more in between. So don't worry, I'll be there with Rihanna pretty soon. It's just gonna take time and work and patience, just like how she had to put it in. She
Yeah.
didn't become, success overnight, if you will, or at this level of success
Mm,
overnight. She had to put in that work and had to, keep going at it. And so that's
yeah.
just what it is for me. I'm no different, if you will. The reason why, if you ask where the name different comes from, in the beginning, it was of a crisis identity, and just it was that question of who am I, what is my purpose here. But as I grown with the name and have evolved with it, for me, the term different, a lot of times people say, oh, I'm different than the rest. I'm not like most. I'm cut from a different cloth. And that may
Mm,
be true. Even for me, I just tell people come and learn what's different about me. But when I say different, it's not of vanity, it's of humility. It's to be different
mm,
from who you was in your past. If you wasn't the best of who you was in your past and you changed that person, you're
mm,
different from who you were then. And so when I say different, or when you say my name different, it's not of vanity, it's of humility.
mm.
And
I
so
feel bad that I was mispronouncing because I was saying like different because it is spelled different, ironically as well. Well, it's spelled
no,
differently. Is that spelled differently from different, which makes it different?
no, yeah, it's just different, just spelled differently. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I'm honestly blown away by everything that you've accomplished like so far like, in your like and you're only like you're still young. You've still got plenty of like growing and plenty of fight in you to keep going. And obviously, I just call it stalking because let's face it, if you're doing research, it's
If
like you're
you
stalking
use it,
somebody.
talking
Well,
or
because if
homework.
yeah, because if you're doing all that stuff, you're having to check like the socials and all that stuff. And if you didn't have a podcast, you get reported. So,
Mhm.
well, so I was doing like my research. So I was seeing like some of the talks that you were giving. I've seen some of the opportunities that you've had like, as the result of the book. Well, and just getting to watch you like grow just in the short space of time that I've got to know you, it's been absolutely brilliant. The work that you're
Oh.
putting in, the work they're putting in, the stuff that you're doing. Like, I was looking at like she thinks that she must think I'm a bigger deal than I actually am. I sit in my dining room and hide from my wife and kids to do this.
No, I mean, I'm grateful for it and I'm humble for it. I'm so happy,
Mm,
you know, to be any podcast that's willing to have me on their show. I'm grateful for it because, you know, the message that I bring, it is a heavy message, but it's a message that's necessary. A lot of people like to sweep it under the rug, as well as even talking about mental health and suicide prevention. And so that's
mhm,
what my business, Third Eye Entertainment LLC, is about. We strive to bring social awareness to society through our products and services in which we educate, inspire, and entertain all at once. And so, my business is my life. You know, I with my third eye, that's where the term comes from, being
mm,
spiritually in tune with your third eye. When you're able to listen to your heart, your mind follows, and then you can understand what's in front of you and accept what's in front of you. Sometimes we hang on to things that we don't need, even though we know we shouldn't.
mm.
And for those who are, even though they grown, so to speak, but not spiritually mature, I'm not here to get religious or anything or political, but
Hey,
you
you'll
have to
be
be spiritually
surprised how
mature in
many
order to
religious
reach your
people that have.
highest potential.
You'll be surprised how much religion's actually managed to seep its way into my podcast. I mean, the very first
Yeah.
episode with Harmony, like, he's a Christian rapper, and then I had the coach on, who had this massive like crisis of faith and spiritual awakening, and
Hmm.
even like, in the previous episode, like Joseph D, like he's heavy. We had a heavy discussion about religion, well, and it was just
Oh yeah.
because it just went that way. Like, I think it must be something to do with like America.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I can't say
you're
I'm a religious person. I'm more say I'm a spiritual because me, I got to be real. Shit, I got it in me to be a heathen sometimes. You know, I'm not a perfect person, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I ain't knowing. I
oh
got these
no.
demons, and I got a dark side to me. But for me, I choose to allow the light in me to shine, no matter what, no matter
Mm,
how bad there is in me, and that's all it is in the world. That you know doesn't matter how many hangups you have, as long as you know your intentions are good when it comes back to giving to people and helping people and so to speak. You know, I try to do right by people because I'm a huge believer in
yeah,
karma. And so what you put out into this world comes back to you. And
yeah.
so for me, I like to pray, meditate. I do a lot of chakra healing and listening to chants and
Hmm.
aromatherapy.
That's
Um,
that's actually quite
and so
interesting.
that's who I am.
I've heard about chakra, but I've never
Chakra.
actually known what it's about. So could you enlighten me on that?
So it for some people it may be hard to follow, but if you will, it's just basically, you know, what you're born with. You have, you know, several chakras. Your um I'll start from the root because I used to do the roots. From
Yeah.
the roots, you have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, then you have your heart chakra, you have your throat chakra, you have your third eye chakra, and then you
Mm,
have your crown chakra.
right.
And so when you open those up spiritually, you're able to, you know, see the spiritual side of things, or such as far as with your root chakra, your body's more in tuned and active. Your sacral chakra, you're more in tune, you know, sexually. Your heart chakra, you know, you're able to love and forgive and have peace. You know, your throat chakra, you're able to speak your piece and articulate yourself, like how I'm able to talk with you
Mm,
and you know just articulate myself, you know, although sometimes I have trip
mm.
ups and slip over my words,
Hey,
you
I gotta
get
say,
the
your
message
throat
clear.
chakra is on fire today. Different. It's on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah. And then there's your third eye, you know, being spiritually in tune and you know asking for the spirit of discernment and listening to your conscience and what it's telling you, and
Mm,
then following that, aka following your heart, and then allowing your mind and your crown chakra to do so as well.
yeah. The
And
only time I'd
so
ever heard about chakra was when someone said, "Oh, my chakras are quote," and this is a quote, "out of whack." Like,
yeah,
can
yeah,
that
your
happen?
chakra, your energies. Basically, it's just energies, the energies that your body bring. You know, if you want your mind to be active, and you know, you need to clear your crown chakra by reading a book, meditating, or praying. Or a lot of people. also pick up an art as a part of their meditation. For me, I love writing. I love doing affirmations and writing poetry. So that is my art form, if you will. That's why I wrote the book. That's where it actually
Yeah.
came from. And so it's a lot different, but it's different for everybody. And so
Mm.
for me, it's a different spiritual journey. It's difficult to explain because I don't want nobody to say, well, it'll be like this for me if I
Mm-hmm.
get into it. So what I would say for those who are interested in, chakra healing is to do your research and be open-minded about it. Um, because then it takes you deeper. When I first started learning about chakra healing, then it got me into astral projection and so
Mm.
forth and so on. And so it's a spiritual journey that you must be willing and patience, have patience to, be willing to go on and
Yeah.
then be open minded to go on, different other parts of the journey. The chakra healing is just the first part of it. If you're mature
Mm.
enough and able to, accept the beyond, that's not available to our naked eye, what we don't see in this world. There is a spiritual world beyond us. I
Mm.
don't want to get off topic and people get to thinking, oh, she's all
No,
wacky and talking
not
about
at
the
all. This
spirit.
is this is the
But
good part about
this
this
is me. I
podcast.
don't hide who I am, and so
Yeah.
it's just what you get.
Yeah.
But
It's a
if
good part of this
anybody
podcast. We
who's
we do
interested in it,
divergent. We like to diverge and go into different topics, go in different tangents. Well,
yeah,
as long as we hit the main bullet points, like usually I'm all good. Like, because it's not. I hate all the hosts that are like, right, we want you to you have to stick to this subject. Like this is like this is an American football podcast, so we just have to talk about that. And if you diverge in any slight way, you're out. And I'm like,
oh
no.
yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
been like
no.
that for me a couple
I'm,
of podcasts. But thank you so much, yeah, for just being flown with it. I like those type of people like that who just able to adapt, and so
yeah,
thank
well,
you.
it's mainly because like, I am like one a really nosy person, but being on a podcast host, it's classed
That's
as
what you
being
need. Yeah, you got to be
yeah,
nosy to be on a
yeah,
podcast. You got to ask the question.
yeah. It's called,
So,
but they can call it being inquisitive, and I'm like, well,
yeah,
hey, I don't get in trouble now.
in America we call it nosy, just flat out nosy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely nosy. Well, Scotland we call it a gab shite.
Oh yeah, they got a gap in their mouth.
Yeah, yeah, just because it never shuts up.
Yep.
So tell us about your writing. Tell us about like for anybody that doesn't really know like the premise of the book, like how the ideas came to be, what and most
Okay,
importantly,
so my book,
sell it.
What if a controversial paradigm shift, is a book that
Yeah,
was written to inform and encourage thought-provoking conversations about injustice and systemic racism in America.
I
This is
love
done
that
through
cover. I
graphic.
absolutely love it. I love the colors of it as well. It just like, it's really vibrant.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Well, I love the colors. Like the cover is really vibrant.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And so it's a book that, like I said, was written to inform and encourage thought-provoking conversations about injustice and systemic racism in America, but not just in America, all over. I just chose America because that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And you asked the question, how did the book come about? So let's take it back to last year, 2020, being stuck in the house, dealing with my depression, going to therapy and talking with my therapist and him encouraging me to get back into my writing. And so having a journal and doodling, affirmations one day. And then May 25th, 2020 happens, the day George Floyd dies,
Mm.
and the world is in shambles because they had to witness this man, lose his life on
Yeah.
live stream, Facebook basically. And being from Houston, I'm from Fifth Ward, a neighborhood called Fifth Ward, and he's from Third Ward, right
Mm.
next to each other. That's actually where Beyonce is from.
Oh, there
So,
we go.
yep. So right next to each other, I wanted to, immediately, of course, they having protests, and so I wanted to get involved and have my voice being heard. However, I felt that I wanted my voice to be heard longer than just in this moment of time. I wanted it to be heard even after I'm gone. And so, being spiritually in tune and talking with the higher power and asking him to reveal to me what is it that I can do to contribute to this society, to this issue, and have my voice being heard, as well as something that's going to put me on a map. Like I said, I'm on a come up like Cardi B. And
Yep.
so this is what he revealed to me. And so June 2020, I just started writing these questions. What if, George Floyd was a white man who was killed by a black police officer? And
Mm.
then you'll see the illustrations showing, a white man with a black police officer's knee on his neck. And so by June, excuse me, I started in June. By December 2020, I took it to my lawyer, let her read the manuscript, and she stated she loved it and asked that question that rocked my world. what's the name of your business? And so I'm like, I
Yeah.
kept telling her my book, the title of my book, what if?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I don't think you understand. You're gonna have an LLC in order to sell a product to the public. And so that's where it gets serious for me because it's more than just a book now. It's about bringing, like I said, social awareness to society through my
Mm-hmm.
products. And so this is the first product that I have to offer. Not only do I do that, like I said, I do motivational speaking. I have a travel blog and a blog. So I do that. I share my excursions where I travel.
Yeah.
And like I said, we talk about issues that are taboo and often swept under the rug, such as injustice, systemic racism. Not only
Mm-hmm.
that, we talk about the importance of mental health, as well as suicide prevention, domestic violence, issues that are often, like I said, taboo and swept under the rug. And so this is the first product that I have to offer, and it's out talking about the issue of injustice and systemic racism.
Mm-hmm.
It is available on my website, differenceworld.net. I just actually did a book fair last week, and I did two magazine appearances, and so and it was on the
Wow.
radio. So it's a lot that and it's only been just I just dropped the books September 20th, and so it's been just less than 3 months, and so far it's going pretty well. And so that's how I know and I believe that in manifest and plan. That's also my motto: manifest, plan, prepare. For those
Mm.
who believe that they're destined for greatness, they have to manifest, plan, and prepare for it. For manifest, you have to speak it into existence like no other. You have to
Mm-hmm.
remove that doubt, remove that fear, and then replace it with faith and write it out on paper, plan it out, plan out
Yeah.
whatever it is that you're going to achieve, have a backup plan, have an exit strategy, have the acceptance of, you can't plan for the unknown, but you or be prepared for it, but you can accept that it's going to come. Next, you have to prepare for it. When I say prepare, that means get your house in order, meaning financially, go fix your financial house, go fix your physical house. If you need to, go hit that gym, go fix your mental house, go talk to a therapist or anybody out there that's having that mental anguish, go get help. Go cut those people off who mean you know well. Go do what you have to do to get yourself prepared for whatever it is that you're manifesting for. When it comes to you, you can be prepared for it and you would know how to handle it. And so you won't squander it like I used to do. And so for me, I am manifesting, planning, and preparing for my book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift, to be the book that rings the world's bell. It's not just a book about racism and putting it in white people's faces, how they treated black people. It's more than that. For those who can make it, I had it set up in four main paradigms: historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical. And for those who are mature enough, Andrew, to make it through hypothetical, they will see it's not just about black and white, it's about unity and compassion and coming together for all humanity. I often, even in the book, the devil is in the details. For those who look at the illustrations, you will see I pay homage to Native Americans, Muslims, Asians, even the LGBT community. They're included as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's not just about black and white and pissing off white people, although it will piss off a lot of people. I'm not worried about that. Because the one thing I learned from number 45 is you go where you celebrate it and not where you tolerate it. And so, with that being said, he had after 4 years of being in office, he has 75 million plus people, still condoning his BS. So that resonates to me, and not just with him that I learned this from, is that, no matter who you are, what you're selling to the public, what you're providing, whatever you believe in, it's always going to be somebody who agrees with you and is going to condone what you're doing. So you go where you celebrate it and not where you tolerate it. And I tell it to everybody out there listening, stop trying to please people who don't like you from the get just because. That's okay. It's going to be people who love you just because. Those are the people that you should, migrate to and not worry about pleasing people, who you're not going to remember in 5 or 4 years or even next year afterwards. And so
Yeah.
that's where I'm at with this book. And I'm just manifesting, planning, and preparing that, it's going to ring the world's bell. It's going to put me on the map. It's going to win multiple prizes, such as the Pulitzer, the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm also manifesting that it's going to be turned into a mini TV series. I have so many plans and hopes and dreams for this book, and it's
Hey,
going to
if you ever
happen in
need a
this.
random white ginger guy to come over to America to act it out, like
Come on with
like,
it, man, because that's what I need. That's what I look
like,
for. This is why I
yeah,
love the fact
I'll
that
be the
you have to
hypothetical white
show.
guy that gets killed. I'm okay with that.
no, and
I'll be
it's not even,
like,
you know.
because there's a show over in Scotland that ran for years, and it was called Taggart, and it was a murder, like Scottish murder drama, and every actor's credit during those years that it was on was that they all
Mm.
wanted to be a corpse in Taggart. Kind of like,
Oh wow.
kind of like how you would say, some of the actors maybe in America would want to be like a dead body in CSI or one
Mhm.
of the CSIs. So it's the same kind of thing with the Scottish side. So I'd be like, I could go one up them and go, "Yep, I have been a dead body on one of the best up and coming books. Well, at this point, it'll be one of the best books. So it won't be up and coming because you'll cracked it. What? And
Yeah.
I got to be the dead guy.
Well, that may be all cool and dandy.
Mm. Well, definitely. Well, if you can get going, just hit me up. Even
Yeah, but so if yeah, definitely come on down and come. That's what this is my tagline: come and learn. So
yeah,
I definitely, yeah, if you get a chance to, that was actually going to be my question to you if you ever been to the States, but
mm,
and if not, I was going to invite you to Houston.
yeah. Well,
But
I have been to the States, but I've not
so
been to Houston. Well, I've been
no,
to,
well,
but
definitely come and learn. Come and see how
yeah,
it goes in the South. The thing about Houston, even though this is the D South that I grew up in a multi-ethnic place. Like this is just a melting pot. Is
yeah,
we have it all here, and so I grew up in a tolerant environment. Even if I don't agree with your lifestyle, I can be tolerant of it. I just know how to, keep my opinions to myself and keep it moving. And
yeah,
so that's what this book in general, in a sense, is all about. How to, just have compassion and love and unity for one another, just because, no matter what a person looks like, we're all struggling with something on the inside, be it, our finances, our relationship, our sexual orientation, whatever it is, we're all struggling with something on the inside. So why not be, practice kindness to one another by walking by, instead of passing judgment to somebody, you walk past them and you judging them just off the way that they look.
yeah,
No.
definitely.
So with this book, it's my hope and prayer, to ring some bells. Of course, it's going to do that without a doubt, but also make people think. And over time, Andrew, I'm well aware that, change doesn't happen overnight. But
Mm,
what if, this is the generation that plants a seed for the next? And so I always say nothing beats a failure but a try. And so here's my contribution, and, here's my opinion, me getting out there to the world and having my voice being heard.
mm-hmm.
And now we're just going to let the chips fall where they may.
No, exactly, exactly. Well,
Mhm.
it's quite good how you say like it said come up and learn because I feel like I've learned so
Mhm.
much from you just in this short space of time. Well,
Aw.
well, because I'm always upfront. I'm always honest. Like where I am, not really a lot of diversity, not a
Mhm.
lot. What it's something that I never really knew about. What it was like when I went to primary school. Everybody was odd because we had a Muslim in our class, and they were like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that what we have a
Culture
Muslim,
shock.
well, we have a Muslim in our class," and I'm like, but I was just like, "That's Humera. That's one of my friends. What's the deal?"
Yeah.
Never understood it. And the same like when I got out to like get to high school and get to the working world,
Yeah,
and it's
high school.
and it
I didn't
always
learn
felt
what
that.
racism was until I got into like middle school and high school, because I actually come from, like I said, a multi. I have black, white, Hispanic, gays, everybody in my family.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn about colorism until I got to, middle school, high school. I didn't know any of that. And when I did, it affected me a little bit. But then as I grew up as an adult, learning right from wrong, you're able to make those decisions. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not a perfect person,
Mm,
but over time I've learned to treat people how I wanted to be treated, even if they're not going to return the favor. I'm not looking for, my reward to come from that person. It's
yeah.
going to come from, the higher being. The universe will bless me. Like I said, I believe in, what you put out comes back to you. And so I just
Mm,
try to treat people the way I want to be treated, even if it's not going to be returned. I know the universe is looking out for me.
yeah.
And so that's just what I try to live by, with my motto, in Difference World, like I said, go to my website, differenceworld.net. You guys can find out all about me, my social media handles, my YouTube channel. Definitely, subscribe. You can see all my travel adventures, as well as, other videos I do and talk about. We just did breast cancer awareness, suicide
Mm,
prevention. We did something for the fellas as well for the month of November.
yeah.
Um, and so I have so much. I'm more than just an author with one book. I'm a motivation speaker. I love traveling all over the world. I'm more than just one option, I tell people.
Mm,
So Different World, come and learn.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
What different? I'm absolutely blown away by you. What I really am. What I'm so humbled by like your experiences and how well you've managed to like take like what was not really a good start in life. You've been able to harness it, what, and use it to power you forward, and you keep striving and you keep going forward with it. And I wish you nothing but success. I wish you more success. What I want to be going, what seeing you like on TV and going, I know her. Yeah, I met her. That's awesome.
Thank
What
you so much.
So we are starting to come up on
Thank
time.
you.
So what I will do is you've probably answered it through the course, but I still like to ask the final question to all my guests. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's listening right now who's struggling
I'm
with
sorry, give
mental
me
health,
1 second. Hold on.
no worries. Everything all right on your end?
Hey, Andrew, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I got to go pick up
Oh,
my nephew right quick from the bus stop. But you said last piece of advice that I want to get to
yeah,
um, the audience. It's okay to not be okay, but just don't sit there and not be okay. If you're having any type of mental anguish, feeling suicidal, going through any type of anxiety or bully, go get
mm-hmm.
help. Go talk with somebody, even if it's picking up a hobby or cutting people off with me. Well, go get your mental health in check. And once you do that, you're able to free yourself from that mental bondage and do what it is that you want to do in life and achieve what it is that you want to achieve. You just have to manifest, plan, and prepare for it and be ready for it.
That's
Different world. Come and learn.
absolutely brilliant.
Thank
Different,
you so much,
absolutely
Andrew,
brilliant.
for having me. I just again, you guys go buy my book. What if a controversial paradigm shift? Differenceworld.net. Spell how you see it. Diferntswrld.net. I'm so sorry to rush you, Andrew, but the bus driver will leave if I
Not
don't
at
go get
all.
him.
Not at all. Go get your nephew. I'll do the wrap
All
up.
right.
It's all good. It's been
Thank
brilliant
you.
talking to you, and I'll
All
catch you up.
right. Difference world. Come and learn, everybody.
Have and
Peace.
learn.
All right.
All right, bye, different.
Peace.
Well, my faithful followers, well, that's actually the first that the guest has to leave, but I'm a dad. If you've got family commitments, you've got to go, and I totally understand that. And it's quite interesting. I get to just talk to you guys for a couple of seconds, and it's something that I have been thinking about. Are you guys okay? Is everything going all right with you? Because if you need anybody to talk to, if anything's going wrong, you don't feel like you can talk to your family, don't feel like you can talk to your friends, you can always hit me up. You can find me on Facebook, Andrew Durning. Go in the Facebook group, That Mental Ginger Show. Go into my YouTube for That Mental Ginger Show. Like it, subscribe it. I put up the community posts. Do a check in. Let me know how you're doing. Because I don't say it enough because I've been obviously so busy with the guests, but I do appreciate everything that you guys do. And the comments that you give me, the the faith that you have in me to keep going. I mean, the last episode with Joseph, as you know, I said I'm constantly terrified to pick up this mic. But if it wasn't for you guys keeping me going, then I would have put the mic down. And not just the audience. I feel it's only fair that since we have this bit of time, I would like to thank my team for the Scuff Studios guys. I want to thank Matthew Hill, who does audio. I want to thank Ross Nichol, who's videographer. I want to thank John Steele, who's been a constant supporter of me from the get-go, ever since we were kids. I want to thank John Toner, someone that's always looked out for me, no matter what. I want to thank Mark Gormley, who, when I was starting out in the YouTube journey, gave me a lot of valuable advice. I want to thank my parents. I know things sometimes get on top of everybody, but you've always been there, you've always supported, and don't think it's not gone unnoticed. I want to thank all my friends, always being there when life kind of has knocked me back, or when I tried to end my life, and they came down to the hospital with me to make sure that that I hadn't done the worst. I want to thank my beautiful wife Alison for just always being there for me. She's I always say she's the best thing that's happened, and that's not me just blowing smoke up people's backsides or just making out that I'm this perfect dad or this perfect husband. Why? Because I'm not. But I am so grateful, Alison, and I'm so proud of our boys, Kieran and Connor. And I always will be, no matter when they listen to this, whether they're 3 just now, or even when they're in their 30s, if whatever social media thing this is on. Kieran and Connor always want you to know your dad loves you. He'll always be there for you, no matter what. So it's a bit of an interesting ending tonight. Just having essentially a Jerry Springer final thought, this kind of sounded like, eh? So, thank you, Different, for coming on to the podcast and just being a generally lovely person. Check her out. Check out her website. Follow her on the socials. And please buy her book. It's like I say with every artist that's on here, just support them, encourage them. Because I know what it's like to not get that support and how much it can break you, especially as an artist. So please, go and support every guest that I have on. So until next time, my faithful followers, take care, stay safe, bye bye.